For far too long now, Jaguars have been stereotyped as being driven by a certain type of person. But the fantastic XF has done a great job of challenging people's perceptions, and now Jaguar has created a high-performance version to give the BMW M5 a jolly good kick in the gerbils. This is the XFR, and I know what you're thinking, it's a little bit discreet for a super saloon. But if you look closely, you'll see the sills are a little bit swollen, the nose tiny bit more aggressive, and that small growth on the boot, well, that's a spoiler. Now there's also some vents in the bonnet, and they feed air into an all-new 5-litre supercharged V8. Now this has 510 horsepower, which means this car should be far too exciting for your stereotypical Jag driver. So I'm going to get rid of these and swap them for this. Now it's a heart rate monitor. I'm going to use it to find out exactly just how exciting the new XFR is. You'll have to excuse me for a minute because I need to take my top off to put it on, and I don't really want you to see my man boobs. Right then, so now it's fitted, I can actually monitor my heart rate using this wristwatch here. Okay, let's see what happens. Before I find out just how exciting the XFR is, I need to make sure that it can do relaxing, just like a proper Jag should. Obviously the ride is harder than the normal car because it's fitted with sport suspension, but whereas a BMW M5 constantly needles and provokes you to go on, go faster, this XFR is perfectly happy to let you kind of waft about in perfect tranquility if that's what you desire. In fact, the XFR felt surprisingly peaceful cruising around the twisty southern Spanish roads, which is where Jaguar took us for the car's launch. I wonder what my heart rate is. Well, it's showing less than 70 beats per minute, which means I'm either really chilled or about to die. But while this hot Jag can be tamed, just like a big cat from a Siegfried and Roy show, if you provoke it, it will rip your face off. I tell you what, this engine is just awesome. I mean, there's so much grunt from everywhere within the rev range that you just floor the throttle and it takes off. I mean, check this out, right? I'm now doing 50 miles an hour, but if I floor the throttle, I'm now doing 70. In case you're wondering, that took just 1.9 seconds. What's more, the XFR only takes 4.7 seconds to get from 0 to 60 miles an hour. And as for the top speed, that's limited to 155 miles an hour. All this means that in terms of like outright performance, the XFR is on a par with the BMW M5. But what about on the limit high speed handling? Obviously I didn't want to get caught for speeding by the Spanish police and end up spending a night in the cell with Jose, the homicidal homosexual. So to really push the XFR to the limit, I headed to a racetrack. What I'm going to do is push this button here to put the car into dynamic mode, ready for the track. I'm also going to reset my heart rate monitor, then do one hot lap to see just how exciting this car really is. And now all of a sudden, this car has come alive. I mean, you can feel the electronic dampers really working to keep everything nice and flat and taut into the corner. And also the throttle response is sharper than before, which allows you to snap straight out of the corners. Jaguar have made the steering 10% faster than in the normal XF saloon. And while it was nice and light on the road, on the track it still delivers plenty of feedback. Also, the XFR is fitted with a clever limited slip differential, which ironically comes from the Land Rover Discovery, and that really helps put all that power down onto the tarmac. It also makes the XFR incredibly easy to get sideways. In fact, you could drift in it all day long, well, as long as your rear tyres hold out. I'll tell you what, on the track this car is just as exciting to drive as a BMW M5, and it costs 60 grand, which means it's actually £5,000 cheaper. So I wonder what my pulse is doing. Oh my God, it's actually almost 150 beats a minute. Apparently that's about the same rate as when you're exercising or having vigorous sex. So then, if you're the type of person that stereotypes Jag drivers as being flat cap wearing pipe smokers, you now probably want to call them sexaholic fitness freaks too.